Hey everyone, how's it going? Happy Sunday. This is going to be episode 2 of From a Dad's Perspective. And this one is trying to think of a title for this one, but kind of the idea I had is, you know, sometimes you have to give up your dreams for other things. And then, you know, I say this because, I was talking with the guys last night, Ryan and Vintindo, Spencer and stuff about just certain things with like our passions, the things that we enjoy and we put our heart into, and hopefully we'll get some feedback on it or recognition, or maybe be successful. You never know. Because as we're younger, we get into these things where we're very passionate about stuff and want to achieve certain things. Like, I know for me, I went to school for film. I wanted to be a director. I wanted to tell really cool stories. And some of my directors that I idolized were, James Cameron and John Carpenter, Steven Spielberg. There's a Luc Besson. There's a really cool directors that had movies that influenced my life and made me have a love for cinematography. Uh, I'd have to say that film is one of those things that I enjoy so much that I'll watch a movie over and over again, even if I've seen it. Like, if it's on, depending on what it is, I'll sit down and watch it, or I'll make sure I go and watch it. That's what it was like back then, being a teenager and stuff, besides playing video games. But because I was always about like, I don't know, just like watching cool things that would take me out of my reality, and I'd be transported to this amazing worlds, and horror films too. That would be out there, and it's one of the things I love, and I try to get my son involved in and stuff, and seeing these great stories that help influence me and hopefully will help influence him. But as being someone that does YouTube as well, besides, what I do for a living normally is IT support, and I don't plan on quitting my day job anytime soon. I enjoy it. It is stressful, but that's the nature of the business. Anything that you do can be stressful. You just got to learn how to kind of maneuver through it, let it go, make sure it's not personal attack at you. Um, but yeah, we were talking, and I feel that sometimes when you're doing YouTube and things, or just anything in general, whether you're an artist or you do music, you even in sports, you're an athlete, whatever, you look and thrive for those interactions or engagement that people that support your stuff. And sometimes it can be frustrating when you put your heart into things, and things aren't recognized, or you're not getting any kind of feedback. And um yeah, it was a good conversation. They gave me some pointers of things that I need to do, to hopefully be able to get that level of engagement that I'm looking for. And I know it can be hard, because sometimes the viewer may not, respond or resonate to what you're talking about, or what you're doing or playing. Because they have their own likes. That's part of the whole thing about finding your audience and stuff. But going back to like my dreams and things, I've always wanted to either own an arcade, but we're well past the age of having an arcade. I mean, I could probably get some arcade one-ups and maybe find some machines, some old cabinets, and then like rent out a place and set up a shop there. But I mean, I just don't know if I'll have the level of engagement that I think I would, you know, 15, 20 years ago. But in the same token, of course, I wanted to be a director, and I have like quite a few stories that I've written that sometimes I'll come up with new ideas, and I'll just start writing something. And hopefully some of that stuff will see the light of day. Who knows? I mean, maybe I luck out and get some extra money, and I can make a film that I want to do. You know, because like for me, it's I want to tell a good story. You know, I don't want to like do something goofy or half-ass. I want to make sure that whatever I do is gonna be well received, and it reflects of who I am and what I enjoy. You know, because I'm a big John Carpenter fan, and I love his way of storytelling, and how like a lot of his films have this like open-ended, ambiguous ending where it's like it's up to the viewer to determine what happens after, you know, MacReady and Childs are sitting there at the fire of what's remains of the Outpost 31, or you know when Nate is on top of the channel station and stuff, and he shoots the antenna, and all the world can see that there's aliens, and you know, of course he dies, and you know you kind of wonder what happens after that. Um, and there's many films like that, you know, you kind of that make you think that like what could happen, what else happened, and those are those creative juices that you know help you, or me at least, as a creator to determine like a story, you know. I have these questions that come up, and I use those questions to help me come up with the answers to maybe a new story. um Not saying that I'm that great, but you know, I try my best, you know, and sometimes things can get in the way, you know, life kind of moves you in a direction that, or we make decisions that move us into a direction that may not be the one we want to be, but or where we want to be. But you know, it's one of those things where without those decisions, you know, I may not have, for me, met my wife and had my son, and I wouldn't do anything to change it. And I look back on my dad raising me and my sister. You know, after my mom and him divorced, and he got custody of us, he sacrificed a lot to raise us and make us who we are. You know, good functioning members of society. You know, we work hard. We don't do anything that jeopardizes whatever we have in our life, and I thank him for it. And I feel bad, you know, because it's like my dad had his dreams and aspirations, but I was super proud of him whenever he did his comic. You know, they only did 4 issues. They have the fifth, sixth, and seventh. I think actually they have the rest of the whole eight, all of that written out. They just need an artist to finish it out, and then the money, you know, because it costs money to publish this stuff. You know, they actually put it on paper, and then you got to do the advertisement, go to conventions, you know, try to put it in stores, and hopefully that word of mouth will be enough to draw attention to it, to bring you more money to be able to produce more for it. And you know, my dad could have not done that stuff, but you know, he'd been working on that, trying to get a comic going, set here in Houston for, oh, man, like since I was 10. Um Actually probably, yeah, probably about 10. Around 92. I know that they were trying to do it because a lot, you know, we used to role play a lot. One of the big ones we used to role play was the Marvel superheroes done by TSR. And we had our own characters. And so these characters that we had created were the characters that appear in the comic. And you know, I just remember, you know, getting different artists. I know at one point my dad was going to draw the artwork, but you know, just things happened where he couldn't do it. You know, and say like I think it was, I gotta remember when the first issue came out for the comic, but it was at least 15 years ago, you know, and my dad got a comic published. Um and that was awesome. That was such a inspirational thing for me. It's like, man, it's never too late to achieve your dreams, you know, and strive for them. Sometimes you got to just move past the drama and the stress and everything else. And, you know, maybe, you know, if you have friends that don't want to contribute or to encourage you, you know, you can still be their friends. But, you know, when you're working in the moment of what that project is, sometimes you may need to step away, because you absorb the energy that is produced by the people around you. So, and I know there's times like that I have. I'm like, I'll sit there and I'll just have a bad day at work, and I'll come home and just like it just feels like nothing's working right, and I just lose the inspiration. And that's part of the reason too, where, I've been late with some of the podcast and other videos, because when I get home, I just want to sit down with my family. And then if I'm in that funk, it's hard to get out of it. You just don't have the inspiration. So you just kind of veg out or do what you can. And, for everything that's been going on this summer, and trying to be more engaging with my son, and, take him places, uh, to experience life outside of the house or outside of a park, or the other little things we do here and there, to build up his memories, to encourage him to have dreams and aspirations and be creative. Uh, that's one thing, is like my family, we have a very big, all of us are really good artists. I gave up all that stuff years ago. I can still probably draw pretty well, but I'm rusty. I know I am, but I chose that. I could have continued to progress and gotten better and worked at my craft. And, the same thing for YouTube, same thing for anything. You just got to continue to work at it. And I have to constantly remind myself, if I want to succeed or I want to excel at something, I need to work at it. And that's what I'm trying to pass on to him. Because sometimes you can be constructive with your criticism, or you can be like, just positive, even like just encouraging like your child or a friend, or just being there. So that way they know that there's support, because that'll go and have them be able to go miles on whatever they're working on. If not, if there's no interaction, you don't pick up the phone to call somebody, they can get into some depression. And I know I've been there. It's really hard. I know for me, and I've talked about this multiple times, but like whenever I was carjacked, back in 2016, right around Christmas, I was selling some figures. I was selling my complete set at the time I had for the Star Wars Black Series. I was selling off my modern, the 25th anniversary to up to the Rise of Cobra and Pursuit of Cobra GI Joe figures, because I just needed the money. We were hurting. I had just transitioned to a new job, and my wife was, I think she just got into a new daycare job at the time, and it was tight. So I was like, I gotta be the adult. I need to step up, and I need to start selling some stuff. And I was making enough money to get Christmas presents for my family and make ends meet. And then I just went out to go to work, had a box with me and my laptop bag, and I got robbed at gunpoint. The guy took my car, took presents I had in the car for my son, stuff that my grandmother gave him, and then his car seat, because he was only, so 2016. I mean, he's two, because he was born in 2014. And I just, of course, I know I've talked about this too. I didn't have because you have a fight or flight moment whenever you're in a situation that's dire. And my first instinct was to fight. And then my brain goes, "Hey, idiot, your family's inside. Let's try to survive this so you can at least be able to see them." So that was a hard time. I went through some pretty deep depression, and I struggled. I really did. And then my wife was there, my son was there, my family was there. It just took some time, because you go through a process of like, I could have done something. I could have done this, or I could have done that. And then it's the whole thing of like, well, I could have been dead, and what's going to happen that, my family wouldn't have me, I wouldn't be able to see my son graduate. Um, and it just changes your focus. I was, not that my focus was different, but it was like I started to find things a little bit more important. But then when things wouldn't go the way they were, it made it even harder and hurt more. And like that depression would pull you down. It's like, well, maybe if I wasn't here, maybe my family would be in a better situation and stuff. And it's like, it's a stupid thing to think of, but your mind works in different ways depending on the situation you get into. But um and and that's, as we went through this, I needed to have an outlet. So I started doing the YouTube and I started doing the podcast because I've always wanted to do a podcast, and having the chance to be able to do a podcast, I dedicate every episode of things I do or anything I do on this channel for my son. Um, it's for everyone to watch, and I hope everyone who checks it out, listens to it, whatever, that you guys find enjoyment. I hope I, help you through any problems you have going on in your life. But this is for him. If anything happens to me, he has, at least right now at this moment, almost 3 years of content that I've created with my voice and stories. So, and hopefully within the next couple of years, I will be having more videos where I'm doing stuff with him and engaging with him. So it's something that, he can have, where he has like a record of us. Because it's something I never got a chance to do. We recorded like audio stuff, but we never really had a camcorder. Having a parent that was working 1 to 2 jobs at a time to support me and my sister, we didn't go without wanting, but some of the extra luxuries we didn't have. But that's okay. You find what you can and what you need for your kids as you go. Sometimes things are tough. Sometimes you may have to sell things. Some things sometimes you may have to sacrifice this extras for the need of your kids. And it's okay. Because, you never know what could come up. There was things that I never thought I'd be able to get a hold of in my collection now, just because I passed it up. And like, sometimes these things are so expensive that, you can only hope to luck out on some of this stuff. But there's been a few things that, like, because I met my buddy Rob in his shop and he just has access to being able to find stuff. And that's what's cool too, is like being able to like branch out outside of your box. You may have opportunities that you didn't have before that may help you achieve the goals you're looking for. You might bridge a connection to someone that has the opportunity or money they want to provide to help you or others do something that you never thought you could ever do. Which it goes into like this weekend. We went ahead and went back to Slurrbon. But my aunt decided to rent a condo for us with her and my niece, and we had a good time. As soon as I got off work, I got home. My buddy Matt put on the new struts on my car. So the car journey is going to be a while. Monday I got to get new brake pads and shoes onto it. So that'll be good. And then I still got to figure out why my car is rattling. We think it might be, like I said, something with the transmission. And if it's with something with the transmission, hopefully it just needs a fluid change or a flush, and then it should be good to go. But we'll have to see. He's going to come out and do a test on it as well. But I do need a tune up. I probably need to replace all 4 of my tires. And, it's going to be one of those things that's going to impact me getting a whole lot of things, but it's okay. I have to have a car to work, and I have to have a car to be able to take my family places. And, it's what you do. And, but we had a good time. I think, like I said, I got there maybe at 7. I actually stopped at Buc-ee's to get me a brisket sandwich and a Coke and some chips. And then I got out there, and it was a pretty nice condo. It felt really good out there because it's always nice sitting on the beach and just hanging out. Um, Especially if you're, in a place that you rented out that's like right off the beach. So the condo we were in was kind of just beyond the seawall, and it had been a while since we really been out there and stuff. And I saw the seawall and like how much they've built up and how they changed. And it's like there's actually a beach there instead of it being like this huge drop off. And then there was rocks, and then there was a little bit of sand depending on, but it's like it's a full on beach again, like what I remembered as a kid. And that's that whole thing too, is just building these memories. But yeah, we hung out. I took some board games. I was hoping we were going to get to play, but the place was too small. They didn't have a table. So we just hung out. And then I ended up hanging out in Discord with Ryan and them. And then we got up about noon. We're doing some stuff around the condo. And then we ended up going to Sutterbond, had a good time. Then we came back. Me and Ed were kind of relaxed in the condo, and then my wife, my aunt, and my niece went and basically were hanging out of the pool. But it was good. We got back here about what, I think it was 12 by the time we got home today. So today being Sunday, hopefully once I get this edited, I can get it out before it's midnight into Monday. But we got everything in. We were making sure our cats were good, their dogs were fed and everything, and then we kind of relaxed. And I passed out for 2 hours. I was tired. I know you can't see it on the thing, but I'm a little bit red. I don't think I'll have a sunburn, but I did get some vitamin D, so that's good. Um, but my son had a blast. My wife had a blast. It was just kind of relaxing and nice. Being able to go out on the balcony was really cool. That wind coming off the ocean and everything, and the view was beautiful. And I'm hoping we get to maybe go down there one more time um, before Labor Day. I know that my son has 2 weeks as of tomorrow, um, before he starts school. So it's going to be one of those things where we're going to crunch to try to get everything we can done before school starts. But maybe make a couple more memories of this year. And then his birthday is on the 28th, so that'll be awesome. I gotta figure out what we're gonna do for that. We were thinking about maybe doing like a trampoline place, or there's a place called Wonder Wild where they have like a bunch of kids' toys with padding and everything. It's awesome. Um, I'll have to put a link to that or something in the bottom of the description. But we don't know. We haven't figured it out yet. We thought about doing it here, but there's too much stuff we got to do in the house. Plus, it's too hot outside to do any kind of barbecuing or anything like right now. The temperature has been insane. I think this weekend, like I think it was like 100, between 100 and 105, and that's not even what it feels like. So, as you can imagine, I know that being in that water at the park was awesome. And like every time you'd get out of it, the wind would just blow on you and you'd be cool. But and that helped with the heat as well. But I want to make sure that he has a good time. We got to get him back on a good sleep schedule and get him ready and prep for school. But it's 2 weeks that I get to really kind of do more things with him before he starts school. Not that we can't do things throughout the year, but I really wanted to make the most of this summer as I could. Hopefully by then I'll have my car fixed all the way and I won't be stressed out on that. So that way I'm not like graying more than I am already. But no, and but everything's been good this week. We I think on Wednesday I picked up uh Across the Spider-Verse. Um, so that was really good. There was a lot of like dad messaging with their parents, or parent messaging in that movie that kind of hit me hard and made me think about like how I parent and things that I find important that I can resonate with what was going on screen. Um, of course, this is the first movie that had my favorite Spider-Man in it. Besides, well, there was a cameo, a post-credit scene in the first movie, but having Miguel O'Hara as a actual character all the way through the movie was pretty awesome. Even though he's not my Miguel, this is a different version because I've been reading every comic and that's not my Miguel. That's a different one. But the cast was great. The music was great. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. Um, I know my son was excited when I told him I was going to pick it up on Wednesday, and we sat down and ate and watched the movie all the way through. And he's like, "This is so awesome!" And then he was like, "All right, I'm going to go play whatever in my room before I go to bed." Um, and that was the thing too. I'm trying to get with him to play a little bit more stuff, and I think we're gonna, for right now, we might just do more Minecraft together between me, him, and my wife, and because it's it's fun, sit down with your family with a digital Lego game, even though it's not Lego, and build whatever the heck you want, and have fun and explore. But I did get to stream again. I streamed the rest of Sonic Mania, so that was fun. And I think Jose and Mazen and everyone else who jumped in there and hung out with me as I went through that process. This is the second time I finished it because I think the first time I finished it was on my PS4, so this is the first time finishing on the PS5. It's a great game. Sprite work is amazing. The music is great. I can't wait to pick up the soundtrack at some point on vinyl. Um, but definitely worth playing. And what else? Next week, actually this week, I'm hoping, if everything allows me to be able to do anything this week, is I'm gonna get my pound cable for my PS2, hook that up in here, and I'm gonna probably end up live streaming the thing, the sequel to the thing, on the PS2. Really good game. I know that Mazen and Dizzy and Jose really want me to stream it, and it'll be good to play through that game again. Hopefully, I don't have the glitch that I had whenever I played the game. I had some issues with my PS2 back in the day, where when your character was holding his gun, his forearm, like his hands would be holding the gun, but like his forearm or one arm would be like this, and it'd be breaking and ripping from the hand. And I was like, this is so weird. And I just finished the game, and so the whole game I have this whole image of the main character with his hands dislocating from his wrist and flopping around. So that'll be hopefully not happen, but hopefully it won't happen, but it'll be cool to be able to check that out again. I will be, as soon as I finish this, I'm going to be working on my video games monthly box. I'll have that out this week. I will have I promise, I will have 79 out this week. So that way we can do our live episode next week. And then I will finish while we collect episode 2, probably have that out Friday, maybe. If not, it'll be out Tuesday next week. And then I have episode 81 recorded. That's going to be fun. Dai's going on it. My buddy Gabriel and my buddy Adrian, and all three of them went to Evo and had a blast. And I can't wait to go next year. So basically the whole episode's them with their stories and what happened at Evo this year, and talking about all the fun they had. So look forward to that. What else? Hopefully I'll be able to get some of my pickup videos out, because I know I still need to do the pickups for July. And like I said, I'm going to break that up into a couple episodes because I did pick up quite a bit of stuff when I went to Missouri. But yeah, other than that, everything's been okay. My sister went ahead and made the decision she did. She actually announced it. So basically, and it's hard as a parent to have to make a decision like this, but my niece Alice decided that she wanted to live with her dad, and it kind of broadsided my sister. So they talked about it. My niece she's only 9, and it's hard because my sister works kind of late hours at the job she's at, and it's hard for her to be there. It's probably been a pretty lonely summer for my niece, even though that's like not, my niece isn't alone, but like my nephew, yeah, he's doing his own thing. He's going to be 18 this next year, and then of course, my son could be playing with her, but it's if she wants to, if she may not want to play Minecraft, she may not want to play Roblox or whatever. So there's a lot of things to it, but as of I think last weekend, she went ahead and started the process for her ex to take custody of Alice. And I don't know. I I'm supportive of what she did, but it's hard because I would change my job in a heartbeat to make sure that I was there to meet the needs of my son. Same thing with I would sell everything in my collection to support my family because without them, I'm nothing. So it doesn't matter if I have this stuff because without them, it doesn't mean anything to me. Um, and so I'm going to do everything I can, and I can't knock her for her decision. And if it's going to benefit Alice in the long run, that's a good thing. But I know it's going to hurt my sister. I know the decision of making this is going to hurt her. And I wish her the best, and I'll be there to help her out and support her. But I wish she would have taken some time to think about it. Because I know that in the same token, whenever there was a point where my mom tried to get me and my sister to go live with her, and we chose to stay with my dad. Because if I would have moved over there, I wouldn't have been the person I am today. I wouldn't have had any of the access to the things I did or what I enjoy, all the great friends and people I've met. Um, that's a really big like change in your life. And I worry about my niece because she loves horror movies and kaiju, Godzilla stuff and sci-fi. I mean, she's like right up what we were at that age. And I don't know if her dad's going to allow her to do any of that stuff. And that may be a one of those things that is going to be hard for her. And let alone, I know that the relationship between my dad and him is not great. And I fear that my dad's not going to be able to see his granddaughter as much. And that's going to be hard. And man, it's one of those things that's kind of been weighing on my mind. And I wonder how things are going to go. And I'm going to be there for my niece. I'm going to be there for my dad and my family. But I, I don't know what the ramifications of this decision are going to be. I can think of all the problems, but things may turn out okay. She may get to be able to come visit us. She may get to go visit my dad and be able to do the things she enjoys without, sacrificing who she is and changing for reasons that another parent feels differently about. And I apologize if you guys hear my dogs barking out in the back. They're usually fighting with each other. Um, Crazy, but yeah, that was what was going on, and it's just kind of been weighing on me. And look at my son and my wife, and I'm like, man, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have them. And having to choose if we ever got me and my wife are never going to get a divorce. Knock on wood here. We've been together for so long, and I I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize any of that. Because she's help define me and make me better. And the same thing for her. But that was the one thing also I didn't ever want to have. I never wanted to have a divorce. I never wanted to fall in the footsteps of my parents. I wanted to do things just right and make sure that I'm there for my significant other. But I don't know. But that's just a glimpse of kind of things that are going on right now. Other than that, I mean, work's good. My car is usable, but I do need to get a brake job now. I got a couple other things I got to do. And once that's done, man, the stress will be off my shoulders tremendously. Um, then I can start saving for things that we want to do. But so I wanted to try something new for this since this whole thing is new for these video vlogs. Um, what is what is a trip that you remember taking with your parents that was very impactful on your life or just a specific moment? Put it down in the comments. Let me know. did you ever get to play with your family with video games or arcades or anything like that I did? Or what were things that you did? Um, I know that some of my friends, their relationship, of course, was way different than mine with my dad with their parents. But I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear what you guys got to say. Um, in the meantime, everyone, I hope you have a good one. And thanks for taking the time in the day to listen to this little rant and journey that I had this week. And I will be back next Sunday with another video. Until then, everyone have a great one. I'll see you later.